it is day 10 of our sourdough starter. She is, now y'all know I've already baked bread with her once, but I'm still with y'all on day 10. This is probably the last day that I'll post, but it's not the last day that I'll be with y'all, because I will stay, and I'm going to be here. I'll be here every day. I will answer any questions that y'all have. Y'all just holler at me. Now I'm going to do what I've done every single day, but for me, instead of just feeding her to try to get her active, I'm going to be feeding her to make some bread. But I'm going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing. I'm going to give her a 1/4 cup of flour. Alexa, stop timer. Let me stop her. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to turn my oven down. That was my reminder. I'm making blueberry muffins. Okay, so I'll still be here to answer your questions. Y'all, it's day 10. If you're getting nothing, no rise at all, but you're seeing bubbles, feed her, and then in 12 hours later, give her another feed. Trust me on that. She may just be real hungry. All right, I'm going to tell y'all the story about my first sourdough starter. It was a huge fail. I started her in the winter. It was like the middle of January. Jim and I always take a trip together by ourselves, no children, and for a week. And I hadn't thought about when we were leaving. So I was like, I would like to start making sourdough bread. My grandmother made sourdough bread all the time, Mama, sometimes. So I thought I'll make my own starter. So I started her. And then I realized 3 days in, so day 3, we were leaving. And I thought, what am I gonna do? How can I do this? Because we would drive halfway, stop and spend the night at a hotel, and drive the rest of the way in the next day. And I thought, how am I gonna do this? And I thought, well, gosh, I'll just take her with me. It can't be that bad, right? So I've got my starter just like this. I put her in the trunk of the car. We get going. It is cold. It is so cold. By the time we get to the hotel, I am panicked because I'm like, she's going to be too cold and I'm probably going to kill her. So we get her out of the trunk and we go in the hotel, and listen, y'all, I'm like a crazy person. I'm in that hotel room, poor Jim. He's like, I don't know what's happening here because I don't know anything about this baking stuff. I don't know what you're doing, but it's crazy. Because I'm like wrapping a towel around her, and then I'm holding her, trying to get her warm, and I feel like she's too cold. And so then I get the ice bucket in the hotel, and I fill it with warm water, and I put her down in it. She just floats. It doesn't work. And so I'm like, I need something that I can put on top to keep her down in there. So I do that. I get something, and I weight her down in that warm water, and then we kind of get in bed, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm just like, I think she's going to get cold because that water's going to get cold. That water's going to get cold, and I'm going to have to get her out and reheat, do the water again. I'm going to have to do that all night. And Jim is like, seriously, I don't know what's happening here. So anyway, I feel like I get her through the night, and the next day we get in the car, and I take the lid off her, and I'm like, she's starving. She's so hungry. Look how runny she is. I didn't bring any food. I didn't bring flour, y'all. I didn't even think about it. So I tell Jim, I say, you have to go to this gas station over here so I can go in and see if they have some flour. She has to be fed. And he is just like, you are talking like this is a person or a dog or a child or something. And I'm like, listen, just get me to that gas station. So I go in there and get me a little bag of flour. And I can't buy bottled water because the water's all cold and I need room temperature water. So I come out and it's pouring rain. I come out carrying this huge 24-pack of water, bottled water, and I'm standing in the rain trying to feed this starter. I'm pouring some water in, and I had to go back in and get a spoon from the coffee section because I had nothing to stir with, y'all. I was crazy. So I got her fed. I got that flour, and I got her fed, and I thought, okay, I'll put her down in the floor, and I'll put my feet like this to hold her in place all the way. We were going to Hilton Head. So I did that. So I put my feet on around her. I figured she's going to be good and warm. She's going to be okay. We're a few hours down the road, and I think, let me look at her, and I look down, y'all, and she has popped everything off, and she has flowed into the floor. My shoes are covered with sourdough starter. It's everywhere. Now, Jimmy, you have to stop. You have to pull over. We have got to try to clean. He is like, we're going to have to throw that car mat away. There is no way that we can clean that. We're going to have to get new mats. Listen, we got to our condo in Hilton Head, and I tried and tried. She was dead. She did that big rise in the car. I think she got too warm. And then she never rose again. I spent every day of that vacation feeding her, trying to get her to come alive. It did not work. I poured her down the trash can the day that we left, which would have been like day 17 or 18 of starter, and she was dead. So I came home, and I was like, okay, now we're going to do this right. And I had made Sweet Caroline. And so I've had Sweet Caroline all that time. But anyway, that's my crazy story. And just for the record, Jim still thinks I'm crazy. And I am a little bit. When it comes to sourdough and bacon, I love it, y'all. And I will do whatever it takes. So that's my sourdough story. Don't get discouraged if you fail the first time. Let's get through it. But listen, if you follow the steps and trust the process and don't get too impatient, it should work for you. All right. Bye now.